Il gruppo dei Verdi, la parola all'onorevole Ska Keller.
Dear Prime Minister, thank you for joining this debate on the future of Europe. And I want to stress that me and my group, we share the criticism on the rule of law that you've heard from almost all groups. So you can see that the Parliament is pretty united in that issue, and I don't think it's going to change. And you might say, okay, you don't care about what other people think about you. But I think you should care. It has been mentioned by the Commissioner already how important Poland is in Europe, but also how important Europe is for Poland, Poland being one of the biggest member states in the EU. And Polish people have a very positive image of the EU and actually trust European institutions more than they trust the Polish government. The EU contribution to Poland's economy in terms of many euros going every year to farmers, organisations, businesses has been mentioned. And many Polish citizens work elsewhere in the European Union. In fact, Poland has actually the highest number of migrants to other EU countries. You've mentioned Brexit, which will hit Poland hard, and you've mentioned Russia. That's why you should care. But also we care. The whole of Europe has much to thank to Poland. Poland was the first country on our continent with a modern constitution. You practically invented the division of powers. And that is actually then a Polish tradition, the separation of powers. Poland also has a long tradition of civil movements for freedom and democracy, from the resistance against the German occupation to the Solidarność movement, which was actually the first opposition movement to participate in free elections in a Soviet bloc nation since the 1940s. That's a tradition to really be proud of, and it gave hope to so many people all over Europe. So Poland could really be a shining example of democracy and the rule of law. But your government, Prime Minister, takes Poland away from the path of democracy and civil rights. You undermine the independence of courts. You put judges into retirement. You put judges under increasing political pressure as well. And you put people into prison who you think are not following your idea. And you even try to control political discourse and threaten the media freedom. But the rule of law and democracy are crucial for the future of Poland, and they're also crucial for the future of Europe. They are at the very heart of our union. And therefore, we as European Union altogether, we have to respond clearly and strongly to what's happening in Poland. We Greens fully support the Article 7 procedure, and we very much thank the Commission for also starting an infringement procedure in order to stop the Supreme Court Act. People wanted, and they still want to join the EU because they believe in the rule of law, they believe in democracy, they believe in good governance. And people in Poland protest against the dismissal of judges. They're standing up for women's rights. There's people marching against corruption in Europe. They carry all the blue flag of the European Union because they believe that the European Union is the body that can help them, that can support them, that will stand up for them. And we're very proud of the people who go to the street, who take to the street to stand up for their rights and their democracy and their rule of law. And those people, they are Poland too. And furthermore, they are Europe too. And we need to support them because rule of law and democracy really is the cornerstone of the European promise in Poland as well as elsewhere in Europe. And it's something that we as MEPs, as parliamentarians, we have to deliver on. It's the promise of the EU and we have to deliver on that. And that's why we as Greens, but also I think we in the whole Parliament, will never give up on these issues, especially since you keep adding new ones, like changing the law for the European Parliament elections, making it practically impossible for any smaller party to enter the European Union. The future of Europe really is in your hands as well, as is the future of the planet in Katowice, which unfortunately you didn't even mention in your speech, the very important conference there. And you could actually bring something into that, namely the idea that it also needs to be a fair transition for climate protection, that social rights need to be protected as well. Why don't you bring that in? Then you could really be also a forerunner on climate change to protect all of our planet in Katowice and beyond. You would even find allies in this house on many issues, such as Brexit, the rights of Polish workers abroad, on Nord Stream even, on social cohesion, you would find many allies. But if you want cooperation, then you have to stick to the basic rules of this community, a community that so many of your compatriots have worked so hard to build and to join, and that is the rule of law and democracy. You will have to deliver on that. Thank you and dziękuję.
Per il gruppo confederale della sinistra unitaria la parola all'onorevole González Peñas.
Señor presidente, señor Morawiecki, por su discurso parecería que está usted viviendo una realidad y su país está viviendo una muy diferente. En esta Cámara hemos